Time to build a new pedal board. Yes. This is gonna be the 2022 pedal board, and last year's pedal board was built in an alder and ash pedal board, and it was huge and it had double tiers and tons of pedals. And for this year, I want to go a little smaller because with a big board, I think you should have MIDI, and I didn't have money for MIDI. And this year I don't have money for MIDI as well. So I'm gonna go with a smaller board with just tapping the pedals. No Giga Quartermaster on the front. That will be saved for another board I'm building later this year or early next year. So yeah, it's gonna be kind of a utility board, grab and go, just a little bigger than a mini board. And I want to use it for shoots here at home, and I want it to be wet dry, so I can use 2 amps. I tried it once and it's awesome. So it needs to be wet dry, and it needs to cover all the sounds I use a lot. So that is fuzz, that is overdrive, tremolo, delay, univibe, and maybe an Octavia, maybe compression if it fits. And I've made a selection of pedals, which you can see here, which can be on the board, but they won't fit all, of course. But I'm gonna mix and match to see what fits and to get the most possibilities out of the real estate I have on the board. I know all these pedals work for me, for the amps I play, with the guitars I play, and I know they work well together. So in the end, it doesn't really matter which overdrive pedal goes on there, because I'll be happy with it, just to see how everything is gonna fit on the board. I have a new amp. The Silktone amp is a 12 watt KT66, single KT66 tube amp. It's fantastic, I love it. So you'll be hearing that as well. As for the pedal board, I've gone with mono. And the reason I chose mono is because their cases, their bags are fantastic. I have one of their backpacks, I have a few gig bags, and they all are built to last forever. And the board itself is also available in silver, because I don't like black pedal boards. I think it's boring. So this is super cool. If you want it in black, you can get it in black. But I went with the silver one. And the bag is super sturdy. You have a huge space up front here for cables and accessories. So yeah, this is gonna be the frame for the board. I already installed the Velcro. It comes with Velcro, and I think it also comes with tie wraps. I can't remember, but you get really high quality Velcro with it. So this is gonna be the board. Back to the pedals. So we're gonna start off with fuzz. On my last board, I had the Espresso Effects silicon fuzz and the germanium fuzz. I have to choose one for this board because I definitely want the Reeves Electro Zo on it. This is a zonk, silicon zonk, and it needs to go on there. So for fuzz, it will be between the third stone, Burko's FX third stone, Espresso FX silicon fuzz, or the new Dominion fuzz. As for size, this I think is too big. This will fit, but the Dominion also gives you the option to switch to germanium. So this is 2 fuzz pedals in one. And it's actually 2 circuits. So it's not just switching transistors, you switch from one circuit to the other, and they're all tuned by ear, so it's brilliant. It's a little wider than the Espresso Effects, but I'm gonna go with this for now. So if it doesn't fit, I'll go with the Espresso Effects. So let's put the pedals I'm definitely gonna use to the side, and then put the ones I'm not maybe or not gonna use here on the floor. Then these two, R2R electric treble booster, which has a 6-way rotary switch. So you can set it to an full range boost, or the Redstone from Spaceman Effects. And this is a germanium preamp, which gives you volume and gain, and the 3-band EQ, which this doesn't have. So they're about the same size. I will go with the Redstone for now. Maybe this will get replaced by the R2R, or it will get replaced by the Isle of Tone Lux 64 as soon as I get it. But for now I will go with the Redstone because of the 3-band EQ. So when I'm shooting demos I can easily change something just a little bit on the pedal itself and not change something on the amp, which will make other pedals sound different as well. Redstone for now on this board. Then we have overdrive, and this is just a matter of what will fit. Thorpe Effects the Dane, one of the very, very best overdrives ever. Clan Centaur, but made by Decibelix in Spain. This is their big clone, which they don't make anymore because it says Centaur, it's trademarked. The Nordvang 83 drive, which is a Clan Centaur and a Bluesbreaker. Thorpe Effects Peacekeeper, which is an amazing clone-ish overdrive pedal, but it's got a 3-band EQ. And Thorpe is the king of overdrive pedals, so it sounds incredible. And the Rara. So this is just a matter of what's gonna fit where. DS Custom from Germany, Octave Blender, clean Octave Blend, like the Prescription Electronics Cobb clone, or the Octaland, but this is smaller, so it will probably be this. And then we are on to, well, this will be definitely on there, the Neo Minivent, which is a Leslie thing and stereo, so it goes from one amp to the other, super cool. Compression, maybe, if it fits. If I have some space left, I will put a compressor on there, and it'll either be the Cali 76 or the new DSM Clearcomp 1078. And then we have Univibes. I have the Formula B Vintage Vibe, which is kind of small-ish. I could also do the jam pedals with a little flower. What's it called? Vibe. Retro Vibe. So either this or the Retro Vibe, but it will probably be one of these, the JHS Unicorn or the Drybell Mega Vibe, because they are smaller and they also sound awesome. So size does matter in this case. And it's smaller, which is better now. It's really weird. Tremolo. I love tremolo, and I love these two. The Origin Effects Deluxe 61. This is actually still the Revival Trem, but Origin won't send me a new faceplate, so I just wrote here Deluxe 61. And the Jam Pedals Harmonious Monk, which is amplitude and harmonic tremolo, and it sounds amazing. So it'll either be harmonic tremolo or bias tremolo, depending on size. This is huge, this is tiny, so it'll probably be the Monk. What's next? Delay. Boss R2 Space Echo, Jam Pedals, Delay Llama Mark II or 3? Mark II, I think. Wonderful analog delay pedal. And this is Boss's Space Echo in a tiny pedal. And then we also have the Thermae, which I really, really, really love. But I don't think I want MIDI pedals on this pedal board, because I think MIDI pedals really need a MIDI controller to shine, and doesn't have a MIDI controller. So I think it'll either be the Delay Llama or RE2. And then maybe if there is space left, the Solid Gold Effects Surfrider, which is a spring reverb, and it sounds really killer. So I think those were all the pedals that are an option. And power. Strymon Zuma and Strymon OJR30. This would be enough to power the whole board, but I want to be able to power 1 or 2 pedals off the board like a wah pedal. Maybe I'm testing something out. I just want to be able to run a cable from this power supply to that pedal, which would also allow me to run a looper beside the pedal board. So I just need a few more outputs. This hooks up with a cable from here, so you just plug your power in there and it'll do the job just fine. And then for the wet dry thing, I have the Lele P-Split 3. So this will allow me to split the signal after the mini-vent, and then modulation and delay and reverb will be going to 1 amp and just the dry signal from the overdrive pedals to the other. But the time-based pedals and the reverb and the modulation pedals will only go to 1 amp. But this will also give me the opportunity to just plug in a cable if I'm using 1 amp, and the whole signal will be fed through to that single amp. If there isn't a buffer on it, if I'm not using something like a Clan or I don't know, maybe this has a buffer, or the Boss RE2, then I will definitely need a buffer. So this will be installed on the bottom of the pedal board. This is a Thorpe Flair, super cute, tiny little pedal. It doesn't have a switch, of course. It's just very, very, very good buffer. And of course, a tuner, which is super boring and takes up space, but you need it. So, enough talking. Gonna clear the pedals off the table, and then we're gonna get to fitting the pedals on the board. Yes, I can't wait. Okay, here we go, the board. Let's flip it over. I already installed pedal board tape for the power supply. One will go here. Clickety click. And then this needs to go here somewhere, because I will have to run a cable out into the amp. Maybe there. So I can use this little hole here to feed a cable back into the pedals. Yeah, this goes here. And then the R30 can go here, I guess, like so. So I'm gonna get some pedal board tape and I'll be right back. Okay, so cleaning the bits where power supply is gonna go, clean the power supply, and clean the Lele P-Split. It's just normal rubbing alcohol. I used to use benzene, but then my last video somebody said, don't use benzene because you'll get cancer. And I don't want cancer, so I'm using rubbing alcohol. Does the job wonderfully well. So pedal board tape. This is pedal board tape. I use this stuff a lot because I really love it. It's super strong. You only need a very, very tiny little bit to make a pedal stick, and the glue will come off sooner than the pedal. So it's perfect. Super sturdy, doesn't leave a residue. I used to buy this at the gig rig in the UK, but then Brexit and super expensive shipping and VAT to support the coke habits of the European Parliament. So I found out that Thomann in Germany also sells this. And this is actually kind of the same stuff as 3M, what's it called? Well, 3M also makes it, but you can get it at Thomann. It's pretty expensive, like a meter costs like 10 euros. But for a single pedal, you only need this much. So it lasts a long time. Let's stick some to the power supply here on the bottom. And the power supply will be on there quite permanent, so I'm cutting pieces that are a little bigger. Let's do one here, and let's do one there, and let's do one here. And then I just click these on like so. Remove a little foil and I can attach it straight to this, like so, and it will not budge. Same for the P-split. Let's remove the little legs because I won't be needing those. All right, that's it. So, time to install some pedals. I've covered the Velcro with paper towels so I can easily pick up pedals and move them around. Starting with, well, let's go with the Octoland there, and then it's onto the Minion Fun. Reeves, Marcus, where are you? There. There we go. Then the tuner could either go here or there. But I don't like this because I will have to reach over and I want to be able to mute it without thinking about it. So that's too big. You could either go with this. Oh, but I want the redstone on there as well. So this will not fit. The Ryra is great, but it has only one gain stage and I need two, so Thorpe, the Dane, it is. It's really one of my favorite overdrive pedals. I've had this for 3-4 years now and always come back to it. It's so good. It cleans up like a fuzz face as well, so you can get really dynamic with your volume control, which a lot of overdrive pedals can't do. Yeah, so then I have Octavia covered, I have germanium and silicon covered, I have Zonk covered, I have germanium raw stuff covered. Or shall I do the R2R? No, I'm gonna go with this for the EQ. And I have two overdrive stages, boost and drive, and a tuner. So bottom row done. Then it's on to mini vent because it needs to split after the mini vent into wet dry or just combine them. Vibe machine. Tremolo. I love how big the pedal is. Then it's on to delay. I really want to tap tempo. Jam. And then I have space for one more pedal. And let's go with the Harmonious Monk. Looks a little better. Or I could go with compression. No, I'll be using reverb a lot more. But spring reverb, I could also go with the GFI Skylar, which has a beautiful plate reverb in it, and you can hook up an expression pedal and do like the swells and stuff. So most of my amps have spring reverb built in anyway, so I think I'm gonna go with the Skylar. Let's get it, I'll be right back. Okay, let's not overthink this, because this will cover a lot of ground anyway. And yeah, I can always change it, which I probably will. Let's do cabling while I'm putting down pedals, so I won't have to remove them later. There's the camera. Gonna get the cables. Okay, so this looks like a total mess, but it'll work. I'm using these EBS flat patch cables. I also have some, what are they called? The solderless, screw-in solderless. Well, the one that Dan from that pedal show always uses. But the pedals are fairly close to each other, so I'll be using mostly these pre-made EBS patch cables. And what's really nice about these is that they are flat, so you can put pedals fairly close together if the jacks are on the side, like with the jam pedals in the Vibe machine. So it won't take up a lot of space, and they are really, really good. As for power, I have some Strymon cables, but I've lost some Strymon cables as well. But I got these at Thomann, actually. Harley Benton. It's their own brand. Flat power cable for pedals, and they're really good. And they are like €1.50 each, so super cheap, really well insulated, and they come in a variety of lengths. So I got these as well. It'll be a combination of several kinds of cables. But first, Thorpe. This is, of course, Danish Pete, his signature pedal. And a guy legendary as Pete can only have a legendary signature pedal, which he has. Then you can go with a little longer one. And I need just a little bit of space in between the pedals to tuck away the cables. Doesn't matter for the switches because they're apart far enough. But for this, I will get like the barefoot buttons. Make the button really stand out, and you can press it more easily. Another short patch cable. Let's tuck it here. I didn't take into account that there was a hole here, so a lot of the pedalboard tape isn't sticking to the pedalboard, but it doesn't matter because it's really strong. Here we go, Skylar. Delay Llama. Let's give this a power cable straight away because then I don't have to remove the pedal. And the good thing about these flat cables is that you can run them underneath the pedal actually, because the pedalboard tape is higher than the actual cable. Okay, so that is done. Then it's on to the Monk. And it's on to the Vibe machine. And it's on to the mini vent. This will go to mono, so if I'm using just 1 amp, which I will most of the times, then signal will still go this way, but the dry signal will be going out of, there's the camera, out of the left input. So if I turn on the vent, both amps are getting the Leslie. If I turn it off, then 1 amp is getting everything, the wet signal, and the other amp is just getting the overdrive and the fuzz pedals, which is gonna be awesome. Okay. We're getting there. Let's put these pedals away before I change my mind. So right after the tuner, I need to install Thorpe's flare, and that goes to the input of the minivent. So both amps will be getting the buffered signal, and it doesn't matter if these pedals are getting a buffered signal because they can handle it. Let's flip it over. Now let me get my label maker. Then I have Octaland, I have Minion, then I have Zo.
3 hours later.
That is everything that needs power, so I can mark it on the power supply. If anything goes wrong, I can find these pedals quickly, because some of them need more volts. No, just one needs a higher voltage. I don't know where to start. Oh yeah, I wanted to start at the flare. So I set right after the tuner, which is there. I think I'll make it live here or here. And it needs power. This was for the Llama onto Vibe Machine. Okay, so this will hold these cables in place, and I'm not tying it super tight because I don't want any stress on the cables. But you do want them secure so they're not moving around or touching the ground or anything. So I can actually shorten this cable quite a bit, which I will do. Let's get here. And that's the cool thing about these screw-in solderless cables. You can cut them to length really easy without any soldering. So what I do is I cut around the insulation and then peel this back. Remove the outer layer of black insulation and then remove this bit, and I can cut this off to about here and then screw it in like that. And this is super tight, bend it in the direction I want it, and then just screw the tip on. Going to in. So what I've done is the following. There are two ways to split the signal, because maybe I won't be running the minivent all the time. Maybe I will get something else and I want to be able to split the signal elsewhere. So I can either run this in stereo by splitting the signal here. So I plug in 1 amp here and I plug in 1 amp here. So one signal goes out this way, one signal goes out the other way. But I've installed the Lele P-split as well, so I can also choose to go out here to 1 amp. Is this visible? There. To plug 1 amp in here and the other there. And then the minivent will run in mono. This is extremely tight, but it works. Let's plug in some power, see if I attach everything correctly. Ideally you should plug something in, check connection, and then move on. But I'm impatient and I didn't do that. All right, moment of truth. Oh, this needs an input. Here we go. Let's check signal path next. All right, let's start with the first one, octaland. Dominion fuzz. Silicon. Electroso. Yes, this thing is killer. The Redstone germanium preamp. Then the Dane, volume high, gain low, tone at noon. Boost side. All right, let's keep this on and go to the mini vent. Vibe machine. Party. Harmonious monk. It's out of tune again. So I have my tuner here so I can mute the noise from the gain pedals, but I still have trails coming from the delay and the reverb pedal. On to Delay Llama. And with a little plate, a little big plate. Right, fantastic. I love it. I love it. Yeah, it's got all the tones I need, I think, and still leaves me the ability to change stuff around a bit. But this covers a lot of ground. I'm gonna hook up the Blackstar St. James. It has a built-in, what do you call it? Cab sim. So it can go straight from the amp to the XLR input of the interface, and we can try the what try thing. I'll be right back. Okay, I've been playing a little bit already. It sounds so good. That's just with headphones. If you are watching this, put on headphones, otherwise it won't have the same effect. If you're watching this just through your phone, it'll sound different. With headphones, it sounds amazing already. I can't wait to hook this up a little later to speaker cabs and have the room fill with glorious tone. Listen to this. All right, and now I want to try the mini vent. I have a wet dry rig. Oh, man, this is so cool. Yeah. This is the end of the video. I'm gonna continue with cabs. Unfortunately, I cannot record that because I don't have mics. Thank you so much for watching and putting up with my amateur hour pedalboard building. And let me know what you think down below in the comments. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to my channel because it will help me a lot. And if you want to score some of my jam tracks and tabs for my micro lessons on Instagram, you can find those on my Patreon page. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.